high ground.
They just took it to heart. That was really good.
Now she's enjoying the power, the real power that being a red has.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Maar eerst een gewone dag op een gewone plaats. Een wegrestaurant langs de snelweg in Birmingham. We laten zien hoe sterk een van onze menselijke basisbehoeften is. Namelijk de behoefte om de groep te volgen. De man in het pak is Charlie, onze acteur. Hij doet alsof hij een kennisonderzoek uitvoert. De mensen die bij hem staan zijn ook acteurs, behalve de vrouw met de oranje blouse.
Question 1, I'll start at your end. Where do we get ham from?
Pig. Pig.
Pig. Pig.
Makkelijke vraag. Nu volgen de moeilijke.
What is the cube root of 97?
14.
Een totaal verkeerd en verzonnen antwoord.
Yeah, 14.
14. 14.
14.
Like, I was put at the end of the line and I didn't know half the questions asked to me, and so it sounded right to me. 4 out of 5 people said it, so why shouldn't I say it? So I think it's an automatic reaction to say or to go along with what people say.
What is the capital of Makata? What is the capital of Makata?
Jedi.
Makata en Jedi bestaan helemaal niet.
Jedi.
Jedi. Jedi.
Jedi. The first man I thought was rather intelligent, answering all the questions because everybody else seemed to go along with that.
Last question. What is the speed of sound? The speed of sound?
10,010 miles per hour.
Kilometers verkeerd.
10,010 miles an hour.
10,010 miles per hour.
10,010 miles per hour.
10,010 miles per hour.
Okay.
I didn't want to look stupid. Everybody else seemed to know the answer, and so I said it too.
I was going to a baby massage class with my son Jake, who was 6 months, and there are about 15 other mothers, and the lady who was running the class said, "There's a baby outside who's German measles. Does anyone mind if the baby comes in?"
Me and my mates had gone down to a football match, and we were standing in the stand, and just away from the stand a bit of trouble had started, where they decided to just wreck the ground.
My baby's health is, of the utmost importance to me. Yet, because no one else said anything in the room, I didn't say anything.
We just got caught up in the emotion of the thing and just ended up throwing seats as well.
And I think everyone was looking around the room, waiting for someone to say something, and no one did. So the baby came in.
And it's something I wouldn't normally do, but because everyone else was doing it, I just decided to join in.
Die drang om zich aan te passen is ontzettend groot. Groepen hebben erg veel macht. We wilden die macht eens testen in onze mensentuin.
Okay, guys, everybody, ready to rock and roll, let's go, come on.
Het Engelse Lake District. Een afgelegen huis met 15 verborgen camera's. 2 psychologen, Mark McDermott en Phil Zimbado, volgen alles vanuit hun geheime controlekamer. En 12 kandidaten die weten dat ze deelnemen aan een psychologisch onderzoek, maar die niks afweten van onze verborgen camera's of onze verborgen agenda. Gisteren zijn ze hier aangekomen, vanuit verschillende delen van het land. We hebben gezien hoe ze zich een eerste indruk van elkaar gevormd hebben en hoe ze uitdagingen aangingen. We hebben ook gezien hoe moeilijk Richard het had om opgenomen te worden in de groep en hoe hij daardoor ging stelen. Al bij al zijn ze toch een hechte groep gaan vormen. Maar het is nu 8 uur 's ochtends, de volgende dag. En we gaan daar verandering in brengen. We gaan ze opsplitsen in 2 groepen. Hoe zal dat hun gedrag beïnvloeden?
Today we're splitting you into 2 groups. It's been decided that there'll be a group A and a group B.
I hadn't expected that. Because on the first day we did a lot of team building in a group, I think that I expected everyone to stay in a group.
From now on, the 2 teams are in competition with each other. Okay? Isn't it going to undermine your spirit if we're going to be like segregated?
So B group is the not so good group and A group is the good group.
We'll see.
The B's are Dave Jones, Amit.
Well, you notice the atmosphere has changed. It was very gay and people laughing, a mix of apprehension, and now it's suddenly gotten serious. And they already know that there's a distinction, a dominance distinction. It's almost like grades in school. B is always worse than A.
A is better than B. Red's better than blue. Manchester United are better than Liverpool. You know, better than Everton. It's just the way it is, isn't it? A is better than B.
Straight away, the fact that you're the B team as opposed to the A team, it makes you feel as if you're sort of lesser people, if you like.
The A team!
We hebben ze willekeurig verdeeld en ze allemaal een letter en een kleur gegeven. Meer hebben we niet gedaan. Maar hun gedrag verandert al. Een paar minuten later gaan ze ontbijten. Let op hoe ze gaan zitten.
This is interesting as they've both sat down at different tables and they weren't told to sit at tables according to the colour of their t-shirts. They've done this quite spontaneously.
It's kind of birds of a feather are flocking together.
Flocking together, yeah.
En amper een kwartier nadat ze opgesplitst zijn, merk je aan het einde van de rij een eerste teken van spanning tussen de A-leden en een B-lid, Julia.
It's always been this way before.
No, it hasn't.
We're competing now, so if we want to do this...
No, Q is orderly and it starts from that way and
I need their breakfast.
Just simply putting different colours on completely separated the two teams straight away. We acted as the A team, they acted as the B team, and I think we tried to differentiate ourselves.
Would you pass, Thomas, would you pass the pepper, please?
Have you not got
Look, you just took it from my table, so just, would you like to pass it, please? Thank you very much. Pepper, I said. Don't be silly.
I think that's why, for example, I was just half joking with Julia and I said, no, I won't pass you the salt. Just to get into the actual atmosphere, into the environment of being in our team.
Right, you're not going to win.
Thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Now, no more helping that team. That's it.
So what we're seeing is a kind of ripple in the lake, if you will. We've thrown a stone into the lake in terms of assignment to the two arbitrary groups, A and B. And just that simple thing, at 8 o'clock in the morning, just a short while after they've awoken, suddenly interesting group dynamics are emerging.
De groepsdynamiek verslechtert na de eerste activiteit van de dag. Een kanowedstrijd, die we, zonder dat iemand het weet, zo opgezet hebben dat de A-leden zullen winnen. Hun overwinning wordt betwist.
No, sorry, because if you think about it, no matter who came out of the place first, and they turned around and said, right, you're going with Dave, or you're going with Tom, Dick and Aaron, you're going down there, and we came round here. It doesn't matter where you are, it's the fact that it's up here.
No,
if you want to win, you've got to win. Yeah, but if you came out the dorms and you was told to go down, just down the bank.
It's got nothing to do with that. If we'd all gone up set off at the same time, you were already on the water. And we hadn't even got on that.
There's no point in debating why you lost. You lost. Sorry guys, but you lost.
Kijk naar Richard. Gisteren was hij nog een outsider, maar gewoon door hem een rood jasje te geven, behoort hij plots tot een groep. En de mensen luisteren nu naar hem.
Stories. I mean, you had longer, you had a little bit more practice. I wasn't going to get any better. I'm not
George has
good at
already
that.
admitted that he wasn't prepared to win.
No,
he's already said he was the weak link.
At the end
so
of
he's
the day,
negatively thinking.
Can I just say, because we're all nice, strong, we're all mates at the end of the day.
People, congratulations.
Okay.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Right. Okay.
Ze vormen amper 3 uur 2 aparte groepen en de harmonie en goede sfeer van gisteren zijn al aan het verdwijnen. Maar de situatie zal nog verslechteren. Sharon denkt dat Julia haar negeert.
There was definitely a lot of tension between Julia and Sharon. I thought there could be even a punch-up at one point.
Fucking ignorant. I was about to say, which is like 1 minute. Fucking ignorant.
Julia has sat down at the red table, and I think maybe some of the hostility toward her was that she didn't know her place. She made a big tactical mistake.
I said to you, Julie, you seem really fucked up and pissed off. Right, and there's some fucking silence.
even her own team members are just walking around her and not giving her any support at all.
The entire group was pretty tight with each other and everyone got along pretty well. And the fact that, you know, we broke up and suddenly, like, a few hours later, we're kind of like at each other's throat almost. I was surprised by that. Yeah. And suddenly that was like us against them.
Well, I certainly ain't going to stand there and take shit from a person that's...
So channel it then, channel it.
If someone doesn't react in a way that she likes, she gets the hump and starts effing and blinding.
You always get one bad apple. As soon as you get one bad apple, it rots the whole cart.
And if you're going to start swearing and banging furniture and go for the hump, it's not a problem.
Omdat Julia aan de verkeerde tafel is gaan zitten, keren haar eigen teamgenoten haar nu de rug toe. Je anders gedragen dan de groep kan betekenen dat je verstoten wordt. Maar wat zou u doen als u weet dat de groep het helemaal fout heeft? Zou u bijvoorbeeld in een brandende kamer blijven zitten, gewoon omdat al de anderen dat doen? In deze vergaderzaal van een hotel wordt straks een groepsdiscussie gehouden over shoppen via het internet. Maar het is niet allemaal wat het lijkt. Wij zijn druk bezig geweest. We hebben 4 camera's en 6 microfoons verborgen. En psychologieprofessor Dominic Abrams volgt alles vanuit de controlekamer ernaast.
Now it's just a question of sitting and waiting.
Right, so this is a questionnaire all about kind of shopping habits and everything here. So just move that off your chair.
Onze eerste deelnemster is Mary Mizuno, een studente die denkt dat ze te vroeg is. Wat ze niet weet is dat achter deze deur zometeen een zware brand zal uitbreken in de keuken. Of zo lijkt het tenminste, dankzij onze rookmachine en ons vals alarm. Wat zal ze doen?
She's now noticed the smoke and is concerned. At this point, she decides to investigate to find out what's going on. She's immediately taken responsibility for figuring out what to do.
Mary doet wat elk zinnig mens zou doen. Ze maakt zich snel uit de voeten. Ze laat zelfs haar tas en haar jas achter.
As I've never been in a fire situation before, I try to remember the kind of things that you're supposed to do. So I left my stuff and just went out.
Maar Mary was alleen. Dit keer zetten we 7 acteurs in de kamer. We hebben tegen hen gezegd, als je rook ziet, doe dan niets. Onze tweede deelnemster is Lauren Heffernan, ook een studente. Wat zal zij doen?
In this situation, she'll be following a script. The script is partly written in her mind. It's a script which is borrowed from things like sitting exams. Most situations like this have some element of expected or scripted behaviour.
Maar wat gebeurt met dat geprogrammeerde gedrag als we van een lichtjes ongewone situatie een wel erg ongewone situatie maken? In het begin niets, dus trekken we haar aandacht. Hoe lang zal het duren voor ze de kamer uitstormt?
She's checking increasingly to see what the other people are thinking. But who can she appeal to? The answer is nobody. She turns to the norm of the group. Ignore the smoke. In a real fire, the people in this group would be in very serious danger by now.
I was looking for some sort of reaction from someone else, even just the slightest little thing that they'd recognise that there was something, you know, going on here. For me to kind of react on that and then do something about it, I kind of needed prodding.
She's waiting for someone else to react. Why isn't anyone else reacting? She feels uncomfortable. She doesn't want to embarrass herself by taking the lead, taking action. But something is definitely wrong.
Nadat ze de rook heeft gezien, blijft Lauren nog 20 minuten in de kamer. Ze is ongerust, maar toch blijft ze zitten. Als dit een echte brand was geweest, zou ze volgens de brandweer al gestikt zijn. We moesten haar uiteindelijk vragen om weg te gaan.
I was surprised that I didn't do anything at all. I was just literally waiting. I just thought, that someone else is surely going to say something soon. And because no one else did, I just didn't react at all.
We hebben het experiment 10 keer overgedaan en telkens gebeurde hetzelfde. Als ze alleen waren, gingen ze snel weg, maar als ze in een groep van 3 of meer mensen waren, bleven ze gewoon zitten. Gemiddeld zo'n 13 minuten. Bij een echte brand sterven mensen door dit soort gedrag. In 1979 kwamen 10 mensen om in een brand bij Woolworths in Manchester.
The fire occurred during the day when the store was occupied by hundreds of people. Most of those people managed to get out quite safely. The people that died in the fire were actually using the restaurant at the time.
Onderzoekers kwamen erachter dat de mensen niet snel naar buiten gerend waren, maar dat ze gewacht hadden om hun rekening te betalen. Dat was hun routinegedrag.
We go into a restaurant. We sit down, the waiter comes over, we choose a meal, we eat the meal, we pay for the meal and then we leave the building. That's our script, if you like, for eating a meal.
Iedereen volgde hetzelfde voorgeprogrammeerde gedrag en niemand wou er als enige van afwijken.
One of the main reasons why people died in the Woolworths fire is because they didn't want to be the first to react. They didn't want to stand out for the crowd and went along with the crowd behaviour.
Er is maar 1 man in ons experiment die zich niet aanpast aan het groepsgedrag. De kunstenaar James.
What's that coming up from under the table? Is it fire?
I don't know.
There's a fire.
We should just wait till she comes back. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. She said just to wait here, didn't she?
What? Is that? What is that?
I don't know. She said just to wait here, didn't she?
What? Is that?
She's coming right down now.
James blijft niet in deze gevaarlijke kamer zitten omdat de anderen blijven zitten. Of toch? Niemand kan blijkbaar weerstand bieden aan de macht van een groep.
The reassurances of the rest of the group that somebody else is responsible seem to be sufficient to pull him back into place. Instead of leaving the room and calling for help, he sits back down again and waits. Now everybody's looking at the smoke, but in some ways that gives the group even more influence. After all, if everybody can see the smoke and no one's panicking, well, it would be crazy for him to do it too.
James blijft nog 10 minuten zitten voor hij opstapt. Bij een echte brand was dat niet meer gelukt. Hij zou al bewusteloos geweest zijn en zo goed als gestikt. We keren terug naar onze mensentuin. Daar heeft de macht van groepen al voor conflicten gezorgd, waarbij Julia door haar eigen team in de steek gelaten wordt. Maar vanmiddag gaat het er nog meer om spannen. Catherine zal ondervinden dat een verrader moet boeten.
She definitely is going to have to pay a price for that.
I had no idea how it was going to pan out.
So there's a very condescending smack on the face, which is really a symbolic slap.
I think she just wanted to vent her anger on somebody and I was the person.
Drie uur nadat we de deelnemers in 2 groepen gesplitst hebben, volgt er weer een kano-wedstrijd. De rivaliteit neemt toe. De groepsgeest wordt sterker met de minuut. Maar Catherine is verscheurd. Zij en George van het andere team zijn goede vrienden geworden.
You're good.
I love you. You look good in blue anyway.
You look good in red.
Good. Well, we're happy then, aren't
Yes.
we?
As long as we look good at all times.
As long as we look good at all times. And we've got our clown's makeup.
Yes.
Excellent. I think you should better
I'm
go to your team. But always remember that I love you.
And always remember I love you too.
Het gaat van kwaad naar erger.
I was a bit gutted about being separated from Catherine because I felt, because Catherine, Sean and I had sort of made a little click, if you like, one of them was being taken away and leaving the other 2, but I had no idea how it was going to pan out.
Catherine en George nemen een groot risico.
Oh my, here we go.
Running off into the woods together.
They're the little rebels. As innocent as it is, she definitely is going to have to pay a price for that.
Joe, shut away, boy.
Such bosom buddies!
I anticipate a really hostile reaction to her if she doesn't shape up very quickly.
Het experiment van vandaag werpt vruchten af. Binnen het uur komt Phil Zimbardo's voorspelling uit. Alle ogen zijn nu gericht op Catherine. Dag 2 in onze mensentuin toont wat er gebeurt als je de basisregel van elke groep overtreedt. Trouw zijn. Terug naar ons wegrestaurant, waar Charlie voor verwarring zorgt door de regels niet te respecteren.
I just thought he was an idiot off his head somewhere, so I just wanted to get out of here, get my food and go, and that was it.
He's loony.
For a minute, it crossed my mind he was a hoofder.
Wat heeft hij dan wel gedaan?
What you having? What you having? He just come up to us and said, I'll get the meal in, what do you want? It's my round.
And we like that. What are we having?
Yeah, it's my round. What do you want? No, let's go on. No, it's my round. Also, you get the next one. What do you want?
I said, we go in, we're not coming back here. When we get this, we're going. He said...
Can't bend your arm.
No, we can face ourselves, right?
That's all right, look, honestly, I trust you. You get the next one.
Is that next door, please?
Yeah, I'm just getting around in.
No, he's not. He's not.
That's all right.
We don't know who he is.
What do you like? Come on, look. Take out of that.
No, we're going after this. We're taking it with us.
That's fine, it's fine. You know, if I'm here again, you can always buy me another.
It's all right. Next time we meet you at the service station, you can buy me around. It's like that. Come on.
Oh, well, they don't want anything. Sorry.
Just don't do it, do you?
It's just something you don't do. A stranger comes up to you in the street like that. You don't know anything about him. It could be anybody. It's just...
I thought he might follow us in the car on the way back, so give him our money back.
Well, he's breaking a very well-rehearsed rule, which is how you line up to buy food. And the people are very embarrassed by this and don't know what to do. But then they very quickly start treating him as though he's some kind of deviant. They feel very threatened by him. They're worried that he might follow them.
Charlie is nog niet klaar.
Excuse me. Sorry. Do you know the way from here to Newmarket, by any chance?
Newmarket?
Yeah.
This man who looked like Rowan Atkinson, or Mr. Bean, came up to me, and he said, can you tell me how to get to Newmarket? We're on the M5, the M50 takes you to South Wales.
No, you want the M42, then the M40, probably the M40.
M42, M5.
Yeah, then no, well, probably the M40. Then you can go around the M25. Then it's up. Basically, it's up the M11, right?
Well, you lost me now. And he says, no, he says, you go M11 to Cambridge, turn so-and-so straight into Newmarket.
It's about off the M11. It's only about sort of quarter of an hour off there. There's Newmarket. So is that all right? Or I could draw you a little map or something.
I said, what do I want to go to Newmarket for? Well, what makes you think I want to go to Newmarket? He says, you can follow me if you want.
I mean, you could follow me in my car.
No, I'm going to Workshop. I'm going to Workshop.
Workshop?
Yeah. Oh, I can't tell you the way to go to Workshop.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the way to Workshop. Sorry.
Okay. And he walked off, and I thought, he's loopy. He could have gone for hours, but I didn't want to be rude to him. Because I thought, to be honest, I thought he was simple.
Even though these people are in a service station and they don't know each other, in a sense they're part of a group and they're following the group's rules, except of course for Charlie. And it's very interesting, of course, that these rules are learned very early on in life. In fact, they're learned at school.
Een school in het Engelse Guildford in het graafschap Surrey. De 2000 scholieren wonen allemaal in een straal van 20 kilometer rond de school en komen bijna allemaal uit éénzelfde milieu. Zoals alle schoolkinderen worden ze voor de lessen opgesplitst in groepen. Maar in de pauzes vormen ze eigen groepjes.
If you just look across the playground, you'll see that everyone pretty much looks the same. They're all wearing the same uniform, they're the same age, they all have the same accents, they're all the same colour. There's nothing much to distinguish them. So one of the things that's really important to them is to make some differences, to give themselves a sense of being distinctive. And the way they do that is to join different groups and to mark out very important but small differences between each of the groups.
We've been named as the Indie Girls, the four of us. We all wear the same stuff, we're into the same music. There's another group of girls, another large group of girls who are very well recognised, very well known, called the Tracies or the Tarts.
People call us like the Tarts girls, but I don't know, it's because we don't, I don't know, we like to make them like to look after.
We're not subtle, are we? If you wear socks, you have to roll them down. Right. Your skirt's got to be like skin coloured tights, whatever. Skin coloured tights, so your legs are
shirt in at the front, out the back.
And then it comes out a little bit at the back.
No jumpers unless you're absolutely freezing. Otherwise, because that's what the indie chicks do.
Group of boys in the corner, which we call the grungers, all wear baggy clothes and reputation for being dirty.
The grungers are more like into snowboarding and skateboarding and stuff, like extreme sports, and so kind of more cutting edge.
Up in the cages, where they play football, is another group of boys called the Garys, who are like the opposite to the grungers.
All the Garys hang out here and they hang out down there. This is sort of like our place and that's theirs.
The grungers won't go anywhere near the Garys because it makes them look as if they like football and they like to wear like gold chains and all that lot. And it's the same way around, the Garys wouldn't want to be near the grungers because it makes them look as if they smell.
We don't smell.
What's this?
Much.
13 is a really important age when children are really beginning to figure out who they're going to be as adults. They're figuring out, what should I wear? What should I listen to? What should I be interested in? How should I behave? They're moving from that comfortable time of childhood when they could just do what all the children do to now a kind of transitional period, and there's a lot of uncertainty around for them.
Is nog meer onzekerheid als je iemand bent zoals Anna. Anna is wat we een eenling noemen.
I'm independent and everything, but I do sometimes feel that it would be nice to be in a group, to have somebody else always there to protect you, to stand up for you. I get names called at me, but it doesn't really bother me that much because if they feel that they have to pick on me because I'm not like them, then it's their own problem.
Anna is trots op haar onafhankelijkheid. Maar zonder dat ze het beseft, behoort ook zij tot een groep. En wel de groep van eenlingen.
Sometimes these groups are real groups, like these ones out here, like the grungers, for example, and they all sit together and they do everything together. Other times they can be groups that are more kind of in our heads. So some of the people out here, for example, might be treated as loners or counted as loners, but you'll find that they themselves have connections that give them that sense of security, the sense that they know what they're doing the right kind of thing.
Is een band tussen de eenlingen, net als bij de andere groepjes. Ze vertonen allemaal de kenmerken van een groepsmentaliteit, zoals loyaliteit en rivaliteit. Anna zegt het zelf.
They're really nice people and everything, and they've got such nice personalities. It can actually be better than some of the people in groups.
Die behoefte om ergens bij te horen is zo instinctief en zo onbewust in ons aanwezig dat we groepen trouw zijn zonder dat we het beseffen. En die groepstrouw verandert ons gedrag heel sterk. In onze mensentuin zijn die veranderingen al ver gevorderd en Catherine zal er zo meteen de gevolgen van moeten dragen. In het heetst van de strijd tussen de twee groepen heeft ze een fout gemaakt. Ze heeft haar vriendschap met George uit het andere team verkozen boven loyaliteit tegenover haar eigen team.
As innocent as it is, she definitely is going to have to pay a price for that.
Een uur later doorbreekt Catherine opnieuw openlijk de groepsgrenzen.
Right, in a moment, when you've had a drink.
All I saw was that I was split away from George, which I thought was like totally intentional, which was fine. But then when it started getting a bit competitive and a bit heated, I thought, oh heck.
Kathy.
Luister hoe het A-team haar beschrijft.
There it is. There's the labeling.
Can we have a different... We don't need it. No, we'll have fine. It's okay, Kathy. I think we just have to make more of an effort, maybe not just as a team, maybe just everyone getting on together. Yeah. I think at the moment the group as a whole has just been like, ooh.
think we're here to have fun, we're here to have a good time. Bit competitive,
they're competing. You know, there's hundreds of people that didn't even get picked for this, and we're damn lucky to be picked. At the end of the day, if people can't accept it, that it's a task, and you win or lose, end of, at the end of the day.
I'm the one that's going, everybody smile, everybody be happy. I'll go and hug you because you're blue, I'll hug you because you're red, and I'll just love everybody. Because it's such a huggy, lovely person.
So there's a very condescending smack on the face, which is really a symbolic slap. Catherine is not only being humiliated in front of the red team members, she's being humiliated in front of the camera crew. And so they represent the outside world.
But it's got nothing to do with you, yeah? Don't think it's your fault. It's so small, it really isn't worth even, you know.
That's what I mean. Well, that's why I'm just a bit pissed off, because I don't know why it happened.
Well, exactly. None of us do. None of us do. We don't know what sparked this off.
No. So Catherine now is crying. Here's a really strong emotion, the consequence of feeling that she's being rejected. She wants to be liked not only by all of the A team, but the B team, and especially by George. And they're saying, you can't have it all. You can't have it your way. You have to have it our way, or else. You know, looking at this reminds me of the Stanford prison experiment, which I did a number of years ago. In many ways, it's very similar.
In 1971 voert Phil Zimbardo een revolutionair experiment uit in de Amerikaanse Stanford University. Dat experiment zorgde voor een schokgolf in de wereld van de psychologie. Een groep studenten werd willekeurig opgesplitst in een groep gevangenen en een groep bewakers. Ze brachten een tijd door in een geïmproviseerde gevangenis. De gevangenen werden meteen onderdanig en de bewakers gingen zich brutaal gedragen. In nog geen week tijd was de gevangenis een onleefbare plek geworden en moest het experiment stopgezet worden. Op een bepaald ogenblik ging gevangene 416 uit protest in hongerstaking. Hij werd meteen in eenzame opsluiting gezet. Verrassend genoeg keerden ook zijn medegevangenen zich tegen hem. Ze kregen de kans om hem uit de isoleercel te bevrijden.
Now what will it be? What will it be over here? 416, you're going to be in there for a while. So just get used to it.
He is totally rejected, not only by the guards, but by his other group of prisoners. And it had a very powerful, profound effect on him. The interesting thing that I reflect back on is there's a direct parallel to the consequences of Catherine's rebelliousness, nonconformity.
Net zoals gevangene 416 zal Catherine haar eigen team tegen zich krijgen. Groepen zijn niet mals voor afvalligen.
Richard in particular felt that I wasn't being a particularly good team player because I was like conspiring with the other team, which I found totally stupid because I thought you've got to be mature about it, haven't you? And I just didn't get it at all. So they said, look, I think you should make more of an effort to be with the team. And Caroline said to me as well, you know, when we're competing, then you should be with the team. You shouldn't be going off talking to George, which I found really daft.
We hebben onze deelnemers niet verboden om aardig met elkaar om te gaan. Maar Catherine krijgt niet alleen het bevel haar team trouw te zijn, ze moet ook een offer brengen en George laten vallen.
But now people are getting very nasty and like, you know, basically saying to Catherine she shouldn't talk to myself and Sean because we're on a different team. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's ridiculous. It's like, and it's bullying people and it's like unacceptable behaviour, especially from a bunch of grown adults.
There was a small glitch today between two of us, but I think that's helped us come together as a team and focus on our main goal, which is to win everything.
We've overcome that now. No, we've shed a few tears, but we've overcome that now.
To be quite honest with you, it's no one else's business who I talk to and who I choose not to talk to.
We've had a chat. Other people have basically said their views, but at the end of the day, you are a team.
Now we're all working very much together as a team, and we're thinking about things before we say things.
It's unnecessary behaviour, and it is, as far as I'm concerned, very school playground.
Onder druk van de groep lijkt Catherine nu wel een andere toon aan te slaan.
I thought the team worked well. Everyone was like, when I was in the car, everyone was cheering me on, and everyone was cheering from the sidelines, helping people, and the support of the team and the support network that we had between us. I thought that was a really good thing.
Het gevaar is afgewend. Catherine loopt weer in de pas. Maar trouw heeft zijn prijs. Het heeft haar vriendschap met George gekost. Maar vanavond zal het hele blauwe team een prijs betalen. Caroline drijft de spanning op.
They sulked about it.
I thought that was a bit low.
They just took it to heart.
We maintain the moral high ground.
That was really good.
Now she's enjoying the power, the real power that being a red has.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Terug naar ons wegrestaurant. We zijn net op tijd om een zakkenroller aan het werk te zien. De vrouw met de rugzak is een slachtoffer en de man met de grijze trui links is de dief. Het zijn wel allebei acteurs. Al de mensen in de rij zijn in feite acteurs, behalve de man in het blauwe hemd. Onze dief slaat toe. Heeft de man iets gemerkt? Duidelijk wel. Bovendien heeft hij gezien dat ook andere mensen in de rij het gezien hebben. Wat gaat hij nu doen? Het antwoord is niets. Ten slotte doet niemand in de rij iets. Waarom zou hij dan ingrijpen? De kans is groot dat ook u niets gedaan zou hebben. Wat de man ook denkt gezien te hebben, hij wordt beïnvloed door de apathie van de mensen rond hem. In een meer ernstige situatie had zo'n gedrag veel ergere gevolgen kunnen hebben. Een station in Londen. Op de grond ligt een dronkaard. Eigenlijk is het onze acteur Peter, maar dat weten de voorbijgangers niet. Hij ziet er sjofel uit, maar niet doodziek, dus laten ze hem liggen. Hem helpen zou alleen maar voor ongemak zorgen, of kan zelfs gevaarlijk zijn. Hij ligt daar nu al 20 minuten en nog niemand heeft naar hem omgekeken. Dit keer trekken we Peter een deftig pak aan. Hoe lang duurt het voor iemand deze zakenman te hulp snelt?
Hello sir, how are you today?
I'm all right, thanks.
6 seconden. Ze spreekt hem zelfs aan met meneer.
Do you suffer from epilepsy?
No.
While you're lying on the floor in the rain?
Na een paar minuten duikt er zelfs politie op.
I would just hate to be in his position of feeling ill and nobody helping and walking past, so I'd just like to check that he was okay.
I thought, well, it's wet, so he must really be ill because he's going to ruin his suit anyway.
Onze actrice Ruth neemt de plaats in van Peter. Ze is niet dronken, maar ze ziet er ook niet uit als een deftige zakenman. Hoe lang duurt het voor ze hulp krijgt? We zijn 4 minuten verder en er zijn al 34 mensen voorbij gekomen.
People don't really want to know that they just haven't got the time. Well, they have got the time, they just don't want to get involved.
Maar het is ingewikkelder dan dat. Als de straat verlaten was geweest, had ze wellicht wel hulp gekregen. Maar de voorbijgangers zijn onbewust een tijdelijke groep gaan vormen met 1 regel: help die vrouw niet. Zoals die vrouw in het station die onmogelijke vragen moest beantwoorden, zijn de voorbijgangers bang om op te vallen. Zoals de mensen bij onze fictieve brand doen ze niets als de anderen ook niets doen. Ook al beseffen ze dat ze wel wat zouden moeten doen. Deze vrouw heeft Ruth bijvoorbeeld duidelijk gezien, maar ze respecteert de regel en doet niets. Maar kijk wat er gebeurt als iemand anders helpt. Ze behoort plots tot een andere groep, met een nieuwe groepsregel: helpen.
First I thought she was dead. Then I sort of checked to see if she was breathing or not. And I looked around and I couldn't believe that no one had noticed her because there was a bloke sat there just absorbed in reading a newspaper.
Pieter heeft nu hetzelfde probleem. Dit keer is hij casual gekleed. Hij is niet dronken en we hebben hem gevraagd te doen alsof hij pijn heeft.
Help! Help! Help me! Please, somebody! Help me! Help me, somebody! Please help me! Help me! Help me! Help me. Please, somebody help me. Please, somebody help me.
I got onto the tube and sat opposite a guy who threatened me. He'd obviously been sleeping rough and had problems, but he was quite verbally abusive.
Yeah, I was with a group of mates one day. We've seen two fellas arguing. We've literally turned the corner, discussed a few things, came back, and that was it, they were fighting.
I'd got up to walk away from him, he'd followed me, and he sat beside me for 6 or 7 stops, actually threatened to stab me.
We've had a little discussion between each other if we should stop it or not. We decided not to, so we was on our way.
And I was looking at the other passengers and looking at the guard on the carriage, hoping that somebody would help me.
We should have really done something, because at the end of the day, how'd we like it if it was us?
Nobody did anything on the tube. People just ignored me completely. When the guy eventually got off, then people came up and asked if I was okay, but during the journey they'd done nothing.
And that's when the guilt tripped in. We really did realise that it was wrong what we did. How'd you do it? How'd you feel when someone's beating 10 times out of someone? I mean, it could have been me, you, anyone, but deep down we bottled it.
It's always very distressing to watch situations like this where people are obviously suffering and no one's actually helping them. But what we have here is two conflicting rules. One is the rule that we ought to help, and the other is the rule that we ought to do what everybody else is doing. And here you have effectively a group of strangers who are exerting the pressure not to intervene, not to help. And it's very difficult to rebel.
Maar rebelleren is precies wat de deelnemers in onze mensentuin doen.
Members of both teams are leading a little revolt here, trying to be one happy family like they were on day one.
3 on this side, 3 on that side, 3 on that side, 3 on that side. But let's just see who sits with whom. So Catherine is sitting next to George, but she's on the red side, he's on the blue side.
And most of the Reds are, well, all of the Reds are sitting on the red side of the table.
So it's a very partial rebellion. Yes, they've said, we're not going to let you structure our eating tables, but then they themselves have voluntarily self-segregated.
I doubt these people are even aware that they have sat round the table in that way.
I honestly didn't notice the fact that we were sitting still in our blue and red teams, as opposed to just mixing around the table. We wanted to just make a point that we were going to, break some of the rules. But thinking about it, we should have alternated, gone red, blue, red, blue.
I say to Harmony, this group Harmony, cheers, and have a good time, cheers.
Goed geprobeerd, maar er is al te veel gebeurd om weer harmonie in de groep te krijgen. Een uur later roepen we het A-team tot de winnaars uit. Ze mogen het B-team een straf opleggen en vernederen hen. De B's moeten schoenen poetsen en buiten sigarettenpeuken oprapen.
Sean, what are you doing there? I'm cleaning boots. Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
Moral high ground. And that is what the most important thing is. We maintain the moral high ground.
I thought that was a bit low, especially picking up the fags if you're not a smoker, but as it was, all the smokers picked up the fags, but I think there was a couple of us left to scrub the boots, which I wasn't particularly happy about.
That slightly got us not upset, but kind of just like, we're not really, we're on different teams, but we're not against each other, and we shouldn't be put in that situation.
We've seen that the Reds have made assumptions about the meaning of being in the A team. They think that it means that they are better than the Blues, but nevertheless, the Blues are complying with the situational rule to be humiliated in this way.
Yeah, cleaning somebody's boots is a very menial task. Picking up cigarette butts with your bare hands. I mean, they're not tedious tasks, but they're clearly menial.
Can you believe it? I knew they'd make us do this. They're so unkind.
I did feel guilty to some extent of making people clean my boots, and I really didn't want them to do that. I mean, I did say to Dave, and I said to him, look, don't do my boots. If you don't want to do them, don't do them. I'll do them myself.
Maar Caroline, ook uit het A-team, heeft helemaal geen wroeging.
I'm competitive to the end, come what may, and what's the point of entering if you're not going to go for it and win? And we went for it. It was close, very close, but we won at the end, and now they've got to have a forfeit. Great. Yes! Yes, yes, yes!
That's the most animated I've seen Caroline So now she's enjoying the power, the real power that being a red has.
Woo, that was really, really good, that. Best part of the day. And I have no problem with dealing the fact that they have to do it. No problem at all, as long as we win tomorrow.
And I think the other thing you see is a little bit of what we think of as the dark side of human nature seeping out. And again, this is clearly what we saw in the Stanford prison study.
That was really good.
And it's going to make us even tougher tomorrow.
That is really,
tomorrow
really
we're going to be really tough.
Tomorrow we're going to really go for it.
Carolyn would make a very good guard in my prison. There's no question about that. She might even be chief of the guards. And I'd feel comfortable that she'd run a very tight ship.
It was just their reaction. They were so funny. It was a major deal to them cleaning a few boots. So what? Why didn't they just get on with it and do it? You know, I just thought it was so funny. You know. So because I seen their reaction, I mean, I just thought it was hilarious. And I thought, right, well, come on, we'll show them a bit more. Come on, get on with it. Clean these boots, shape yourself. You know, because they wanted you. They just took it to heart. They just took it to heart, and they couldn't understand that it was. If they'd just got on with it and had a laugh about it and a joke about it, then it would have been all right. But they didn't. You know, they sulked about it.
Now my attention is really heavily focused on Caroline because tomorrow we're going to crank up the competition, the intergroup tension, and I anticipate Caroline is going to really begin to take over more and more a dominant role because she's just relishing it so much.
Phil Zimbado houdt Caroline terecht in de gaten. Gisteren leek ze nog de onschuld zelf, maar vandaag heeft ze voor het eerst van de macht geproefd en ze geniet ervan. Hoe ver zal ze morgen bereid zijn te gaan?
Een canvasavond zonder een canvaskrak, dat is zoals een ei zonder zout. Daarom afspraak met haantje Herman de Voorste en zijn slimme kippetjes zometeen.